Sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip.
Today's lesson, we dealt with the inverse operation, and we're talking about how this inverse operation is the opposite of two functions. The inverse operation of addition is subtraction. The inverse operation of multiplication is what we're talking about now, division. So we've been dealing with arrays a lot. We've been creating division equations and multiplication equations. Today, we're going to learn how to create 4 different equations from an array. You can start with multiplication. You can start with division. I always like doing multiplication first. 3 rows times 4 in each gives me 12. Or we could say 4 in a row times 3 rows gives me 12 altogether. Now we write our 2 division equations. 12 altogether divided by 3 rows gives me 4 in a row. 12 altogether divided by 4 in a row gives me 3 rows. That's how we make our 4 equations from an array. They'll ask you, let's say, what division equations, what multiplication equations can you write? They might ask for all 4. They might ask for one of each. Does not matter as long as it's one of these or all of these. Now, they might not give you an array, and we're going to deal with now creating what's known as fact families. Okay? You'll be given a set of numbers 4, 7, 28. And they'll say create a fact family for that. Again, going back to what we just talked about with arrays, we were going to create multiplication equations and division equations. Doesn't matter which one you start with. Again, I always like multiplication. 4 times 7 equals 28. 7 times 4 is 28. 28 divided by 4 gives me 7. 28 divided by 7 gives me 4. Didn't use any other numbers, just these 3. Now they might throw a curveball at you and give you the numbers written 9, 54, and 6. And they'll say, create the fact families. Well, here's where you have to look at the numbers and figure out what am I multiplying, what am I dividing by. Here I'm going to start with division first. I'm going to say 54 divided by 9 gives me 6. 54 divided by 6 gives me 9. 6 times 9 gives me 54. 9 times 6 gives me 54. So they may present it to you this way. They may present it to you with the numbers, and you have to figure out what are we multiplying, what are we dividing by. Now the third way they could present the numbers, and you'll notice this. They might give you 5, 5, and 25. Notice we have doubles here. So when you notice and you have doubles, you can write 5 times 5 equals 25. You do not need to write it again. You can go right to your division equation. 25 divided by 5 gives me 5. When you see doubles, think 2. Think I only need to write 2 equations. I hope this helps with today's lesson. See you in the middle.